Welcome to Studying Important Doctrine, Part 1, and our topic tonight is forgiveness. And I'm really excited because this is kind of a new format or a new type of webinar that I'm launching tonight. And the idea and the goal here is to show you how to study important doctrines. So in the process of showing you how to use Logos, you'll learn some things there. We're also going to learn about different resources, different ways to study, different ways to organize our information. Now, on a topic like forgiveness, very difficult to completely cover this topic. It is a wide, significant topic with a lot of depth. But what I'd like to do, and the goal of this webinar, is to get you in a position where you will be able to study this doctrine for yourself as deep as you want to go. Now, just to let you know about some upcoming webinars, tonight, of course, is Studying Important Doctrine. This is the third Monday of the month. And here's all the third Mondays of the month webinars. As you can see, we've got Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4. But there'll be some more coming up, and those will be on different nights, so we're kind of mixing up for some variety. So take a look at this, and this will let you know of some of the upcoming webinars. Of course, you can go to LearnLogos.com/webinars, and you can sign up for those. Be aware that our next webinar is next Monday, November 28th, and that's our fourth Monday of every month webinar. And then we start over in December with the first Monday and the third Monday. So you can sign up there at LearnLogos.com/webinar. Once you sign up for a particular Monday, you're signed up for all those Mondays. So if you sign up for the first Mondays of every month, you're good for the whole year. Same as the other ones. If you want to sign up for every webinar, just sign up once for each of those Mondays and you'll be covered for the whole year. Just a quick reminder, you can take this webinar home. There's a lot of material we're going to cover tonight. You may be taking notes and trying to follow along, but it's always a great tool to download and review, and we make that affordable to you at $4.99, normally retailing at $9.99. We'll send you an email link to buy, usually within 24 hours. And also at the right, you'll see that we've got our training CDs, 50% off. This is now up to 15 hours of training, over 160 lessons, and it is the most comprehensive and affordable training for Logos 4 on the web. Now, the orange CD will lay the foundation for Logos 4, and that's a great place to begin. And then the two blue CDs are going to help you apply that foundation, where I take you through a passage like the Great Commission and show you how to study, how to pray, how to do word studies. The whole process is laid out before you. The green CD is actually a download only at this point, and that's our update CD, and that comes free with the bundle training. That's our commitment to you, that if you buy Learn Logos training, anytime Logos makes changes to the program, we will provide updated videos free of charge to you. And we just email you a link and you can download that for free. And take advantage of that. And just one more difference between the webinars and CDs. I get this question a lot. The CDs are designed to be self-guided, self-paced, very detailed, very methodical. Going to show you every step. We're going to be very slow and methodical. The webinars assume that you have a little bit of knowledge of Logos, though it's okay not to have any because you'll still get something out of it. We're going to move a little bit faster. We're going to throw a lot of additional material that you just won't find on the CDs. And the webinars allow you to ask questions directly to me in this live environment. So very unique. And all of it, we're not going to stop and show you explain every step along the way, but you will see me click and you'll be able to follow along. So those are the differences between the webinar and the training CDs. The truth is they're both a complement. And I see Joseph got a question. Are there any new updates available for the green CD? Right now, the green CD is the most updated. Actually, it's a download. Is the most updated training now. And you can get that right there at the website, LearnLogos.com. Just go to the CD training section, go to the download section, and you'll see at the very bottom of that list the green CD to download. Okay, so let's begin, and I want to talk about the process, because when you study important doctrine, there are some certain goals and things you need to be mindful of at the outset. And so one of the goals of a topic, when you're studying a topic, and this is different than doing an exposition verse by verse. When you decide to teach or study a topic, the three goals that should be incorporated in the studying and the ultimate learning, and then hopefully you'll be sharing this with someone, is that you want to exalt God. You want to create an atmosphere of worship, not only while you study, but for those that you would teach this to. But that is just part of the process. We also have the goal of equipping the saints, equipping yourself so that you have the knowledge to act upon, so they can lead to greater obedience, and also help others to be more conformed to the image of Christ. And then lastly, we never want to lose sight that everything we do is for the purpose of witnessing as well. The reason all of us are still here on earth is that we can be a witness for the grace and truth of our Lord Jesus Christ. So those are the three goals that are overarching in this process. Also, when you do a topic or you study a specific doctrine, usually it's to meet some relevant, it's to meet an immediate need, and that's very crucial to understand. If you're going to study a topic, it should be for something that you can use right now, or something you anticipate that you're going to need in the very near future. Now, some other specifics and some other things I think are really key is to remember 2 Timothy 3:16 and 17. And that is ultimately that all Scripture is God-breathed, it's inspired, and it's for the purpose of teaching or sharing doctrine, for reproof, that is to correct someone who is in error or in sin, for correction, and that is to give them the right information since they've been going down the wrong path, but also for training in righteousness, and that is to give them the right information so that they don't err, so they don't sin. And that really is the goal of a topical sermon, or anytime you take a subject and you want to go in depth with it. And you should have those elements built in as well. Now, one danger of studying a topic not in an exposition format is that you have what I call the multiple context problem, and that is we're going to be going through tonight looking at lots and lots of different passages, and each passage has its own context. So this is the multiple context problem. To truly bring everything together, you need not only to understand that verse, but understand that verse in its immediate context. So I just throw that out there so that we guard ourselves against the proof texting or just using a verse out of its context. Okay, a couple more things, and then we're going to jump right into the Logos program so that you understand where we're going. And again, feel free at any point to ask a question, and I will be integrating that into the webinar. Now, let's say we're going to begin to start with a topic and a passage, and tonight's topic is forgiveness. You're going to be collecting and reading a lot of information. So right away, it's going to be very important that you have a note strategy. Now, keep in mind, I've done a webinar just on doing notes, and you can check that out at LearnLogos.com. But for tonight, I wanted to share some additional thoughts on note strategies, because we're going to be, like I said, looking at a lot of information, a lot of different books and resources, and we're going to have to decide what do we want to keep, what do we want to discard, etc. So for example, when it comes to information in general, when you're developing a topic or you're studying a subject, you're going to be looking for outlines that you could integrate and modify. You're going to be looking for key ideas. You're going to be looking for key biblical passages. You're going to want to be able to say this is the definitive passage versus maybe a supporting passage. And you're going to be doing word studies. Now, after you gather all this information, which at first may seem a little disjointed, you're going to have to work through the order of priority, organizing the information. And a good rule of thumb is when you're looking at Bible passages, for example, is to organize them based on chapter, paragraph, and verse. And what I mean by this is, as you're studying a topic, if you come across the topic and there is a whole chapter in the Bible, that should be your priority to communicate that. That would be ideal. If you can't find a whole chapter, then look for a paragraph that really does a good job of explaining that particular topic or subject. And if you don't have a good paragraph, then look for the key passage. And that brings me to the third point, which is discerning. Very important as you're weighing out the passages, what you're going to include and what you're going to exclude, that you determine what is considered a primary passage versus a supporting passage. Very important to distinguish those two. Since most likely you're going to share this information with someone besides yourself, you're going to want to start with the primary passages. You may not have enough time to share all the details, so you do want to share the most important details. Also, you're going to have to summarize this data. You're going to be collecting a lot of information. So using bulleted lists is a great way. Using one sentence to summarize maybe a paragraph or two or a chapter. And then brief summaries for some of the more extensive ideas and topics that you'll be discovering. Now, the central idea is so important. Tonight is, of course, forgiveness. And so we're going to look for a definitive passage. We're also going to look for key associated words, because sometimes you may start off studying a subject and realize that to truly explain that subject, you're going to have to deal with other ideas and issues. And so that's where this key associated words comes in. Now, here's a list of organizational formats when you ultimately finish gathering your information and you're getting ready to present it. A classic approach is to say, okay, here's what the Old Testament says, here's what the New Testament says. Another way is a main idea, and then you just give some supporting points. You may be doing a biography, so a biographical sketch, which would lean maybe towards a chronological approach. Also, there's a geographical approach. You could be looking, for example, in the book of Acts, and you're talking about the themes of Acts, and you're taking people from Jerusalem to Judea to Samaria to the ends of the earth. You can also look at verbal actions. You can outline it by a process. You could do it in a story format. Theological format would work as well, and sometimes even grammatical, where you're talking the objects and subjects. Now, forgiveness is a very good one. Who is the object of forgiveness? Who's the subjects that receive forgiveness? Who is the one who grants forgiveness? You could see where this could go. There may be key words that we want to look up. For example, in the topic of forgiveness, we might have to deal with justification or repentance. Another approach is to do a series of questions, and we'll actually bring up a PowerPoint slide that actually will show some of these. And then a series of statements, because your subject may just be about explaining the very facts or the statements, and so making bold proclamations may be part of it. Don't forget to include biblical illustrations, and if you can use Old Testament and New Testament examples, things from Proverbs or Psalms, that's always preferred. And then, of course, you're going to want to principalize the applications. Now, just to remind you, we've got webinars that focus just on principalizing applications and also how to search and find biblical illustrations. So that's how we're going to organize the information. So just be thinking about that in the background. Okay, let's go to the next slide. We got a little bit more information, and we're going to jump in. Yeah, here we go. All right, so how do we begin to study this amazing topic in the Bible called forgiveness? Well, it really begins first with the home page. So let's go to Logos, and let's go to the home page. Now, the easiest way to study a topic or a subject is to go to the Logos homepage and actually type in the topic and see if your Logos library has information on this topic. So I'm going to type in forgiveness on the homepage, and then I'm going to click go. Now, it's important that you spell the word properly. If you don't, you won't get the kind of results that you need. Now, right away, you can see that we've got some results. But something unique that I want to point out is right here. It's this first section called Topics. When you enter a word or phrase from the Logos homepage, Logos is going to check and see if that topic is in your library. And if it is, you're going to see this topic section. If you don't see the topic section, then that means the word you typed in is not associated with any topic in your library. So that's a great little clue to look for. So let's go ahead and expand the topic section. Now, again, your results may differ from mine because of the books that are in your library. But I want you to see the types of books that do come back. We've got Bible dictionaries. That's the first main group. Okay. Then we have encyclopedias like the Wycliffe or the ISBE, the International Standard Bible Encyclopedia down here. You also have unique books like Dictionaries of Jesus and the Gospels or Dictionary of Paul and his Letters. You also have topical Bible indexes like Nelson's and Nave's and New Topical. And then you have another category like illustrated Bible dictionaries. So it's not just a Bible dictionary, but it may have some illustrations in there. These are going to be your most helpful resources for studying a topic because they have already gone into the Bible, found all the passages, and have organized it, and in some cases have given you a commentary or an explanation. So let me just open up the first one, and we'll take a look at the Tyndale Bible Dictionary. But before we do that, let's open up a note file so that we can begin to study that. Actually, let's hold off on that a minute because we're going to create a workspace so we can organize our information. So that's what I want to do next. And yeah, Sylvia made a point about the highlighter pointer. You can get access to the highlighter pointer by pressing F8 on your keyboard. And if you have a scroll mouse, you can actually change the color of the mouse or of the color pointer, and that will allow you to have access. And then you can color all you want, and then when you're done, just press escape, and the color will go away. So let's go back to the PowerPoint. Before we go into any of these books, I want to kind of work through some of these items. So that's the home page, and notice that the home page turned into our passage guide, but it was a limited passage guide. So we're going to go a little bit further in the passage guide. We're also going to have a passage list because we may want to gather and collect key verses along the way, and the Logos passage list really is the best way to do that. We're also going to want to have a clippings document opened as well in case you want to generate a bibliography. That should be bibliography, not a biography. Bibliography. And then also you're going to want to have your topical resources, which we'll be clicking on. You'll want to have a Bible so you can look up passages, and also you're going to want to use the Power Lookup tool. So let's go back to Logos, and I'm going to go to Layout where I have saved my topical layout. So let's go ahead and I'm going to click on that, and let me show you how it's organized. It'll take a moment to come up.